Hello, my name is Monique and I'm making a video about dealing with money. Since I live with social welfare, there is a peculiar way of dealing with money, and I wanted to give some advice on that because I think a lot of people can make good use of that. It's not very complicated, at least I don't think it's going to be very complicated. Except for one slight thing that involves some calculations, small calculations, but that's just an example, so you may even forget about that. Let's see. Dealing with money. There are two aspects in dealing with money. First is, if you want money, then you can make money. And second, you can make efficient use of the money you have. Well, since you live for social welfare, you're not making a lot of money, so that aspect is lost on me. So I'm going to talk about how to make efficient use of the money you have. I haven't found it necessary to write everything down and keep a very detailed bookkeeping and to see what comes in and comes out. You can do this maybe for a while, for a month or so, but it's not necessary to integrate this in your lifestyle. That's not how you save money. What you can do to save money is just change your lifestyle. So you just know when you see expensive stuff, you can't buy those things, and just so adjust your lifestyle. That's a better focus than very directly looking at your money. I have an adapted lifestyle. Sometimes I look at my bank account, but I don't look at my bank account to see if I can buy something. That's just something I don't do because I barely ever buy something. It's integrated in my lifestyle. So and that's easier. That's better. If you would continuously trying to find the border of what you can and can't do, by seeing if you have the money to buy something. So if you continuously try to see if you can buy something, that in the back of your mind there's the need to buy something, the urge, and that's a huge strain. So just better change your focus and your lifestyle on that matter. So you don't look at your bank account, you look at your lifestyle. You change your lifestyle, you adapt your lifestyle. That's very important. And most people that are able to live off social welfare do this. I talk to I can live off of social welfare, and there are other people that can live off of social welfare, and most of them agree on this. So there's that. Changing your lifestyle means that if you smoke, stop smoking. Don't buy expensive smartphones. Don't buy expensive clothing. Don't buy brand clothing. Don't go on a holiday. Don't travel, and all that stuff. And then that's pretty strict. It's pretty harsh. But living off the social welfare, don't forget that. That's not a party. So, and it's difficult. I know, because we all have these things that are bad for us, like smoking cigarettes. If you're on cigarettes and that you suffer some stress, it's going to be very difficult to stop smoking. So everybody has their own flaws they make. So that it can be very hard for you. And if you cannot stop smoking cigarettes, well, that's one thing. But if you're on top of that, must have an expensive smartphone, and you want to have clothes that belong to a specific brand, and it's something that does not add up, and that's just not possible. So it's not so much about one singular thing. You cannot smoke at all, or you can't have a smartphone, but you cannot have all of them. So you must really must think, reconsider your priorities, and that's the main message here. And this is very, very, very important, because this is how you save money. Another example about visiting bars and cafes. Yes, if you're a young person and you live off a social welfare, visiting a bar and a cafe is going to be incredibly expensive. One drink is incredibly expensive. However, if you're young and you just have to go out every once in a while, well, that's understandable. So if you're a young person and you want to go out, then consume alcohol before you go. Get loaded before you go. It's going to save you a lot of money on the drinks you buy once there. I mean, if you plan to drink alcohol, that is. Don't do it when you already go out. And if you live on social welfare, it's going to be very difficult, because you might have friends that don't live off a social welfare. They are there and they get loaded. They drink after drink. They might even buy each other drinks. And this is also very, very difficult, these kind of social gatherings. My friends want to sit at a terrace. I hate terraces. I mean, when I get a cup of coffee, and it's like, my God, I'm only thinking about how much the coffee costs. Really, that's how bad it is. But I've been living off a social welfare for 20 years, so I cannot enjoy that. I really can't enjoy that. My mind is solely on how much it costs, and if I do it, I only buy one. I don't get a cake. I don't get anything extra, and friends that would continuously want to meet like this, they don't stay friends for long. I mean, it's one time, and because I'm not gonna. I have my pride. I'm not gonna let them buy everything, and so there's that too. But this is also something that's going to be very, very, very difficult, and this is something you really have to think about, whether you can keep up this lifestyle. What is normal for most people simply is no longer normal for you. Also, not everybody who lives off a social welfare drives a car. So also consider carefully if you really need one. That's another. And get a savings account. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Because a savings account is some buffer. It's good. You can use it because if you always want to have some backup, a small buffer. You cannot have a big buffer, because living on social welfare does not allow you to have a good buffer, but you can have some of a buffer. You can do this with a saving account. You can use it for your insurance. You can use it for your pet's insurance. If you have pets, this is also a matter of priorities. Do you really want a pet? But yes, you can use it for that. You can save money for your clothes. You can save money for when you need a new refrigerator or something. I have some money for gardening, and of course you can have some money for fun. This all goes into the savings account, and that's really, really, really useful to have some extra. Let's say clothing. Clothes is twice a year. All the clothes are in discount, and this is the time of the year that you want to buy clothes. If you have to buy that of your monthly income, then you might not have enough. You barely have anything to spare at the end of the month, and here you are. You might have €30 or $30, and you have to buy a half year clothes for €30. That's not going to happen. That's not possible. So get a savings account and save some money for clothes is a really good idea. You can get the money when a discount is happening, and you can spend money on clothes. It's really, really good idea. It makes life so much easier if you can save it up beforehand. So. And on top of that, recently my bank account allows me to save several piggy accounts, so I can save money for several purposes. When I want to buy something or clothes, if I want to buy clothes, I don't have to worry that I accidentally use money that I better use for my insurance, for example. Because if it is one account, then you continuously have to remind yourself, oh, what is what? So much for insurance, so much for pet insurance. So actually, then I only have 50 or 70 euros for clothing, and so you have to calculate. But now, if the bank account allows you to add several piggy accounts, then you can use that to. You don't have to memorize exactly what is what, and so it's much better automated. If I use money for clothing, I can immediately see how much I have left for my savings. I can show you, because I'm not going to show you the bank account, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. I made one in Excel, so this is kind of what it looks like. Piggy accounts. So this is all from the same bank, and these are several sub-accounts where I can save some money. So you can save money for clothes. This is $20 or euros, whatever you want, per month. Equipment, refrigerator, computer, stuff like that breaks down 20 euros a month. Garden, I save some money for the garden. I have one magazine that I like to read, so I save some money for that. Other, well, that is just fun. Other and fun for things that I missed here, because you might always miss something here. Insurance, yes, and insurance for pets. This is what I add per month. In total, I have $100 or 100 euros per month to add to my savings accounts. And this is an example of what could be in your account total. I don't have 1,500 in my account total. It's a lot less because, as I said, living with a social welfare is pretty hard. And yeah, if you, especially the insurance, for example, it might be very different. It's not just the insurance; it's also the dentist bill. In reality, that I have also in here, and that's certainly, if everything goes right, 80 euros a year. That just that's a lot of money, actually. So it's difficult to save that, because 80 euros a year, that is 220, and oh, never mind. That's 4 months. 4 months. So I need 4 months to go to the doctor, to go to the dentist. Takes me 4 months, and then I have 8 months. The other 8 months I can actually save up my insurance. That's not really good, and the extra insurance is the most important buffer probably that you have, because if something happens and you don't have it. And yet at the same time, I made a mistake here, because if you don't have an insurance and something does happen, then the Social Welfare Institute can actually back you up. But since I have an insurance, I have to pay it for myself, so they don't back me up. So if I would have 600 euros in my insurance account, I might actually consider to just spending it, because I know how it sounds, but that's a lot of money, and you could do so many things with that 600 euros. And if the Social Welfare Institute actually backs that up. But as I said, one of the reasons I'm thinking like that is because, I'm never going to have this 1,500 euros in here. I had a time where I had up to 1,200 euros total in my savings account. Yes, 1,200, something like that in total. That is the maximum I've ever had, and that's not a lot of money. That is not a lot of money, but nevertheless, this is a very good way of saving money. And if I want to spend money, let's say on equipment, that's not a bad idea. I need a new refrigerator. I need a new refrigerator for a very long time. So I know my total is not enough to buy a refrigerator in this example, but nevertheless, because I only have 67 in this example. But let's say it was a lot more. Let's say I had 300. Then I can say, oh well, yes, I can buy one because I still have enough money for my insurance. I still have money for clothing. I still have money for my pet insurance. So then I know that I can spend money on equipment. So that is really, really good. So I really like this. These piggy accounts, sub accounts, or whatever you call it. So yes, get a saving account, and if your bank allows for several piggy accounts, then please do that. It's a really, really good idea. So do what you can to make sure you have surplus money. That's what how we can summon it all up. Surplus money, you also need some surplus money each month. At the end of the month, like on your bank account, you don't want at the end of the month you're zero. Let's go for 30 or 40. So you kind of know that at the end of the month you will have money, because sometimes when you go to the grocery, you find large quantities of food or something. And if you can buy something in large quantities and it's something that you actually use, then you pay less. You pay a lot of money all at once, but in the end you pay less. If you buy, sometimes it happens. No, lately not so much anymore, but there's been a while where you could like buy 10 kilograms of meat. Well, nobody's going to buy 10 kilograms of meat, but if you buy like 10 kilograms of meat for, let's say, 40 euros, and it's I don't know, so some random meat, that's ridiculously cheap. Chicken for the price is not cheap. Well, it's not expensive, but if it would be random meat, that is amazing. So then you put it in packages, and if you think, okay, I can, but you have to pay it in advance. You know, it's a little investment. It's a small investment that in the end makes you pay less, because if you're going to eat it and use it, you pay a very low price per meal. And then we also come to another very important point. Learn to calculate. When you do groceries, you have to, when you see meat or other products, always calculate to kilograms. Or if you live in a different country where they work with ounces, learn to calculate in ounces. But there is a standard in here. It's kilogram. Everything can be calculated into kilograms. And once you have the kilogram price for all sorts of meat, you kind of have a feeling for whether something is expensive or not expensive. And this is very important, because the price is not always given in euros or dollars per kilogram or ounce. Not always. So sometimes there is, well, so sometimes they play tricks on you. The supermarket may give a package of 600 grams, for example, let's say for $7.50, and that you look at that and you go, oh, it's a discount. It says, oh, cheap. So probably it's cheap, and you put it in your cart and chart. Sorry, you put it in your chart, and you think, oh, I'm doing really good. But now you have to learn how to calculate this. So if it's 600 grams, you can divide it by 3, and then multiply it by 5. Then you have the kilogram price. So if that is 750, divide that by 3, it's 250. And 250 times 5 is 1250. So 1250 per kilogram. And meat for 1250 per kilogram is rather expensive, actually. So that's not discount at all. And this trick, supermarkets do this trick all the time. At least in here they do that all the time. So they play these tricks and learn to calculate everything into kilograms or ounces, but always a standard. So not half ounces. If you always, I always calculate to kilograms, so I'm not going to sin by calculating something into an ounce for once. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's always a kilogram. So sometimes you stand in the store, you do some head calculations, and for some people it's going to be more difficult than others. If you're not very good at calculating, it really take practice. And there's some other little stuff. I mean, if you buy food and you don't have a lot of money, food must serve several purposes. It must be healthy, but it also must fill the belly. Rule of thumb, healthy food is more expensive. You pay for your vitamins, keep that in mind. So that is expensive. But as I said, it must also fill the belly. So yeah, never mind. That's something that has nothing to do with here. Forget about that. Yes, calculate everything into kilograms and do the same for liquids. Perhaps, sometimes you buy liquid stuff per liters, but sometimes you have packages of 0.75 liter or 1.5 liter. That's all that happens, and then too it might be important to know how expensive it really is, and this helps you in buying lots of stuff, beer, wine, alcoholic drinks. It's always good to know how expensive that really is, because that is quite expensive. And chips, if you want to buy chips, so sometimes you can buy chips in really huge bags, and then you open the bag and there's hardly anything in it. So also make sure the amount of what is in it is always given. So familiarize yourself with these numbers, and maybe also you can learn to calculate the price per 250 grams when it comes to chips. I don't know, and other snacks. Yeah. So these are some important tips that help you saving some money, and most of them is relatively simple, except for the one where you have to learn to calculate when you're in a supermarket, and that might take some practice, but the principle behind it and why you do it, I hope that at least is obvious, and that you will do that. So I think that covers it. I think I have I have covered the most. I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time.